Hey guys, today we're going to learn about how to threshold an image for image analysis. First, let's talk about what a threshold is. For every pixel within an image, it's given a color value from 0 to 255. From these color values, we can then make a black and white image that helps us analyze our picture. An important thing to note before we start thresholding our image is to check what image type we have. There's 8-bit, 16-bit, and 32-bit. For thresholding, we're going to want a grayscale image, or in other words, an 8-bit photo. If you're working from an image from the SEM, we must first blur the photo. To do this, we go to Process, Filters, and then Gaussian Blur, and then use the default setting. This will help us get a better threshold. The reason that we do the Gaussian blur is that when we look at the grayscale value versus pixel graph, this is what it actually looks like, where we can see the filament versus the background pixel scale. With the Gaussian blur, it helps the threshold by distinguishing a distinct difference between the filament and the background silver. Before we threshold, we're also going to want to set the scale for our image. To do this, we want to use the straight line tool. Hold down Shift to keep our line parallel with the bottom of the picture. Zoom in on the ends. Go to Analyze. Set scale. Our known distance in our scale is 100 microns. And click OK. This will help us manipulate our image and measure our particles in the future. Next, to do our threshold, we go to Image, Adjust, and Threshold. Depending on your image, you may have to manipulate the slider bars to remove noise. Click Apply when you're satisfied. This is where the image manipulation techniques in the last video will come in handy. For most situations, you may want to isolate a part of your image. For this, we're going to go to the Paintbrush tool, change our width to 500 pixels, and clear out the area that we don't want to analyze. The next step that we're going to want to do is to fill in all of the empty spaces in the filaments. To do this, we're going to go to Process, Binary, and Fill Holes. To finalize our threshold, we're going to want to remove all the particles that we don't want to analyze. To do this, we're going to go to Plugins, and then to Particle Remover. Because we set the scale in our image in the earlier part of the video, we know that each of the filaments is around 50 microns in size. Because of this, we can now remove all the particles that are smaller than 50 microns in size. It now creates a new image that we can analyze in the future. That pretty much sums it up on how to make a good threshold of your image. In the next video, I'm going to go more into how to use Fiji to analyze the threshold.